Hi there. So here we have an old Samsung 40-inch television. The model number is LE40M87BDX. And what we're going to try and do in this video is update the digital TV firmware manually via a computer. Given this is quite an old television now, still works well, but things like over-the-air updates are no longer being transmitted. So the only way of updating this is via the service connector at the back of the television, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So if we go into the menu here, go to the settings on the digital TV, go to System, hit Product Information, and there you can see the firmware, that one at the software at the top, and the firmware version, and we're going to attempt to try and update that. So yeah, let's go and have a look around the back now to see where we can plug in a cable for the software update. So here we have the back of the television, and these are all the different connectors, all the various component HDMI and SCART connectors. The one we're interested in is this one here. Now, given this is quite an old television, it kind of predates things like USB, which most modern televisions have. Now this one's quite interesting because it has a serial connector that uses a 3.5mm stereo jack that's connected via a serial cable to a computer in order to do the update. So what we're going to need to do is fabricate one of those so we can plug this thing into the computer. So let's go and have a look at that now. So I had a bit of a dig around in my old pile of cables. I found this, which is an old 9-pin serial cable. It's the same on both ends. So it's two female sockets on either side of that. So yeah, we're going to use that, this side going into the PC, and then we need to plug the stereo jack cable into this thing. So what I ended up doing was, I had an old lead knocking around. So yeah, as I said, this is just a standard thing that you would get with headphones or audio leads. And I basically cut the end off. And if you look very carefully, I had some old pins in my spares that I've basically just kind of soldered and crimped onto the wires. And then what we're going to do then is pretty much just find which pins need to go in here and then just connect it all together and then plug it in and see if we can get the computer to talk to the television. So here's a picture of the cable which I got along with the software from a Italian website. I'll put a link in the description. You can see here it basically shows how to wire up your stereo plug into the serial port. Now you notice here it's saying DB9 female, and the interesting bit here is the transmission, which is on the tip of the plug, actually goes to the RX, so pin 2, and the middle pin, which is the RX on the plug, goes to the serial port on pin 3. So if we have a look at this one here that I've knocked up, what I showed earlier, so the connector on the tip, that is going to pin 3, which is the red cable. The middle bit of the plug is going to pin 2, which is the white one, and the ground, which is the bottom one, is going to pin 5. So this is quite an old PC, so fortunately it still has one of the old serial connectors on it, so it should just plug straight in to the existing lead that I've got, which is like I think they used to call them Knoll modem cables. If you've got a newer PC, you'll probably have to use something like a USB to serial converter. I'm sure that would work. The document I just showed you talks about using one of those, but I don't have one, but I'm sure you can probably get it to work. So yeah, let's get this plugged in and then we'll start running the software and see if we can get it to connect to the television. So before we do the update, here's just a quick shot of the cable plugged into the back of the television. So you can see here it's plugged into the connection there that says service. Right, if we come round to the computer. Here we have the software. I'll put a link in the description of where I got this from. It was a Italian website, and basically you have the firmware file itself, and then you have the software for doing the update. So yeah, let's double click on that. I'm running this with a Windows XP compatibility mode, given this PC's running Windows 10, just to make sure there aren't any issues. And I'm also running it as administrator, just to make sure that it can access all the things it needs. So first thing you would need to do is choose the file. So we open that, and then we hit next. Okay, now the program's going to want to try and connect to the television. On the right hand side you have a little debug window that you can use for seeing what's going on. So as soon as we click next, it's going to try and make a connection to the TV. The television at the moment is in standby, so what we need to do is, once we start this running, we'll switch the TV on and hopefully it should make a connection. So there we go. So you can see here now it's saying it's looking for the television. So if we turn the TV on now, so you can now see at the bottom that it's detected the television. Okay, so it's found the television and it's just doing some handshaking, and there you can see it's got some information back. Okay, so on this side here we can see it's found the TV, shows the model number, hardware V null. That's a bit unusual, but hopefully that's not a problem, and you can see it has a firmware version there. So let's click on next. Okay, so select the software slot to upgrade, so we'll do auto select, as that probably sounds the best one. You can see here that the original software there was 11th of September 2007, and I believe this is a much later version that fixes various problems like not having enough channels to store all the Freeview channels, and there's probably some other updates as well. So yeah, let's see what happens. So we'll click next, and hopefully now you can see here that it's pushing all the data across. And yeah, we'll just leave this running. Okay, so now we're on to the final bit where it looks like it's going to now actually run the install on the TV. So yeah, we'll just give that another couple of minutes, and then hopefully it should be all done. Okay, there we go, fantastic. So congratulations, your Samsung digital set-top box has been updated. So yeah, let's go and see what's happened on the TV. Okay, so now if we go and look at the television, we'll go back into settings and we'll scroll all the way down to system. And if we look at product information, yes, we can see now that we have the 1018 update on the TV, which is fantastic. Now the other good thing about what you can do on this TV is if you go to the software upgrade section and you do software information, you can see here now that we have the old version available. So if you wanted to default back because of any issues, then you can do that. Looks like by pressing the red button. But yeah, you can see the current software is the new version, so that looks like that's worked, so that's brilliant. So there you go. Hopefully that shows you how to update the Freeview or digital TV component on your old Samsung television. Thanks for watching.